All right, guys, I wanted to talk today about a player I believe is one of the most underrated players in the NBA, but also one of the most intriguing prospects for a team that is on the rise. He's going to get a lot more press this year because the Utah Jazz are getting a lot of national games, Christmas games, opening week games. There's going to be a lot of press for the Utah Jazz, and there's a lot of people that are going to get to know one of the best young prospects in the NBA that no one really seems to know about, and his name is Royce O'Neale. An exciting video came out this week from House of Highlights. If you haven't seen it, go to House of Highlights Instagram and check it out. But in the video, we see Royce O'Neale training alongside Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and Chris Paul. It's a big deal. Royce O'Neale has the talent to, obviously he's not the star of those four players, but he's a guy that's able to play and keep up with those guys because he's a starting level player that's going to come off the bench for the Utah Jazz. He's actually going to provide a lot of intrigue for the Jazz this season because his play is going to improve, and he had actually one of the best rookie seasons that no one talked about last season, mostly because the teammate next to him had arguably the best rookie season ever in Donovan Mitchell. So Royce O'Neale last season for the Utah Jazz played most of his minutes coming off the bench, but in the times that Ricky Rubio was injured, Royce O'Neale actually got a chance to play. He started 4 games for the Utah Jazz last season at shooting guard alongside Donovan Mitchell. In those 4 games, the Utah Jazz were 4-0. And the big reason is that Royce O'Neale brings three-point shooting. He brings incredible defense. One of the biggest play examples that I really love from last season, it shows exactly what Royce O'Neale brings. If you saw the San Antonio Spurs game where Royce O'Neale started, probably not a game a lot of people saw because the Spurs and the Jazz don't always get a ton of TV time. It's just a fact. But in that game, you saw Royce O'Neale help win that game on his own with it's just special defense. The final play of the game, the Spurs ISO a player to try to tie the game up. Royce O'Neale guards that play and stuffs it and wins the game for the Utah Jazz. And considering the fact that the playoffs were so close last season in the Western Conference, that was one of the difference makers in the Jazz making the playoffs and having the 5 seed that they ended up with. Royce O'Neale was an impact player for the Utah Jazz. Royce O'Neale last season, if you didn't know, was a plus defender, and he shot 35% from 3 as a rookie. So what you're going to see is Royce O'Neale's three-point shooting going to go up. It happens with every rookie, especially the ones who shoot well in their first season. His three-point shooting is going to go up mainly because players like Royce O'Neale and other rookies have to learn the rigors of the NBA. And so when you're in the NBA and you have that first season under your belt, you learn the strain, the physicality, and all those things. Now he's got that year under his belt. You can expect Royce O'Neale's three-point shooting to go up. He's going to come in and be a better defender because as a rookie, he was an impact defender. He's going to be even better. And that's exciting if you're a Jazz fan to have a prospect like this who's probably coming off the bench again, but is going to provide incredible impact play off the bench. And if any player gets injured, you can plug in Royce O'Neale, and he provides great production. The other factor for Royce O'Neale that's exciting and is a reason to watch out for him, maybe even in fantasy leagues a little bit, if you're just wanting to take a flyer on a final guy on your fantasy league bench or something like that, is that Quinn Snyder trusts Royce O'Neale. In the playoffs, when Ricky Rubio went down, Royce O'Neale stepped in and played big-time minutes. In the OKC game, when Ricky Rubio went down in the final playoff game between the Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder, Royce O'Neale steps in when Ricky Rubio goes down and plays big-time minutes and plays defense and helped win that game. Paul George goes like 2 for 20 or whatever it was, 3 for 15, whatever it was, and part of that was Royce O'Neale's defense. He was a big-time impact player for the Jazz, especially on the defensive end. And if his three-point shooting goes up and he has just a resurgence and consistency in that three-point shooting, he becomes a big-time impact player for the Utah Jazz. And so that's what I wanted to cover today. I think Royce O'Neale is absolutely one of the most underrated players in the NBA. He's going to be a big-time impact player for Utah. And honestly, he was the major reason that the Jazz were able to trade away Rodney Hood and bring in Jay Crowder, because the production was arguably better. You have a better three-point shooter, better defender, which obviously showed out to become wins for the Utah Jazz. So just another prospect that Dennis Lindsey has brought into the Utah Jazz that is going to grow with this team with Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Joe Ingles, and all the other young talent on the Jazz, Dante Exum. Going to be a big-time impact player for the Utah Jazz. Watch out for Royce O'Neale. He's going to be good. He's going to be really good. All right, guys, like and subscribe this video. Tell me in the comments what you want to hear. Do you want me to talk about another player? Let me know. Maybe we'll talk about him. All right. Talk to you later.